Hey there, Kira Sherman here. I am coming to you with another video this week because I said I would be more consistent and I intend to follow my word on that. So, what message do I have for you today? I just got off a group mastermind call. I have a group that I meet with once a week. I'm going to actually be launching a second group here within the month. And you know what the last thing that I said in my last video is like putting your focus on, you can always decide something new. You can always choose to do something new, to change the way that you're thinking about something or the way that you feel about something by looking at, even what are the possibilities or whatever. But I want to plant a seed that I was just talking to my group about, which is like for a lot of people, they look to their circumstances, their stories, and their beliefs, their perceptions of what's possible in order to determine their decision-making process, right? And sometimes I call these beliefs, limitations, whatever's in the story. And the story is whatever's in your external environment. My story is I am a woman, I am 40 years old. I have brown eyes. These are all things that are in my story. And in my story, I am a coach, right? But then there's other stories that feel like they're out of your control, like the economy, for example. And for a lot of people, they determine what's possible for them based on these stories about reality. So for example, when I was living in Aspen, this is a dating one, but it was like, oh, everyone here has what they call like Peter Pan syndrome. So you're not going to really probably find a partner. It's very difficult to find a partner, they said, right? And so I could take all those stories, all the information in the universe and say, oh, okay, well, this is my reality, and therefore these are what my possibilities are. What I teach people to do is to say, not looking at what other people say is possible, because they're only giving you their version of limitations that are out in the universe. Instead, it's about consulting, but what do I love? What do I want to create in this universe? Because how do you know what's possible? How do you know what is possible for you? Are you going to take somebody else's word for it? Are you going to look at the economy and say, oh, well, this is what the economy is, therefore I'm going to make all my decisions based on this economy? But does anybody really know where the economy is going? I mean, sure, there's indicators, and even if the economy goes into a certain direction, does that mean that your possibilities have to be stifled? Or are you going to make decisions that are still true for you? Are you still going to go for your dreams despite the stories, the circumstances that other people are living under? Because you're determining your possibilities by the decisions that you make. And every decision that you make determines a new possibility. And you could say, well, it wasn't possible for me. But how do you know that? Well, I didn't have the money yet. But you also didn't decide. Because who knows, the money could have come from somewhere. Maybe your business increase. Maybe someone gives you money. Like, we don't know what the possibilities are until we decide. Most people look to their circumstances to see what is possible rather than the other way around, which is, you know what, I'm going to decide to have this experience. Come hell or high water, I'm all in on this decision. Then I figure out what the logistics are. But if you don't decide first, you're allowing the story to determine what's possible for you. And that can be a very limiting experience, by the way, because there's a million people out there who might say, oh, well, life is like this. But how do you know? Have you lived a different way? Have you had a different experience? Or have you ever had the experience where you met, like there was maybe a friend of a friend and somebody goes, oh, I don't really like that person. They're very this, they're very that. And then you meet them and you're like, that person's awesome. I really like that person. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can have a completely different experience of someone than what somebody else had, and vice versa, right? Somebody else might really like that person and you're like, ugh, I don't love that person. Like, they were whatever. You had a different experience of that. And I'm not saying that sometimes these experiences aren't true, but they're often reinforced externally. and people constantly look to their external to determine what's possible, rather than going in your heart and saying what is possible, or going into your intuition and going into what is your feeling, what is your knowing, what is your certainty. Because your feeling might be, oh my gosh, I have this great idea. I want to start this new business. I want to do this new thing. I want to expand into this new thing. And somebody goes, yeah, but it's a really bad time right now because, and they'll list all these reasons. And you might listen to that. You might fall for their story and say, you know what? I'm not going to do this thing. I just don't think it's the right time. It's the interest rates. Yeah, but what do you love? What did you feel? Why not let that determine what is possible for you rather than all the stories of what the impossibilities are? All right, speaking of possibilities and limitlessness, my mentor is putting together a program in Los Angeles, July 15th. I will be there. It is life-changing. He taught me everything that I knew about intuition, more or less. And the reason why I do what I do is probably because of the work that I've done with him over the years. Go to the testimonials page. You'll see me on the video. And yeah, I would love to see everybody there. It's a very transformative event. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me personally. Have a beautiful day.